Welcome to a true spiritual adventure story like the world has never known, with your host, Dr. James Yogadhi Weldon. Good day, this is Dr. Jim Weldon speaking to you from Heavenly Mountain in Boone, North Carolina. Our wonderful community here, which is dedicated to living the enlightened life and cooperation in interfaith and intercultural understanding around the world. I'm sharing with you from my book, Living the Enlightened Life. This chapter is entitled, Children Know the Truth, and a poem as usual at the beginning. What is birth and what is death? Aren't they the same? When we move from pain into joy, isn't that birth? When we move from joy into pain, isn't that death? Each moment we move from one to the other in endless cycles. Who remembers them all from birth to death and death to birth and the ancient memories beyond? My mother told the story of my birth with some humor. Friends of my parents are out of town and offer us their house to use because it's close to the United States Air Force Base Hospital in Fairborn, Ohio. When the friends leave their home, they forget to suspend their milk delivery. Each morning, 2 quarts of chocolate milk arrive on the doorstep. My mom has a taste for chocolate, so she drinks these each day. The joke is that my birth is delayed 2 weeks until our friends return to reclaim their home because my mother wants to enjoy that chocolate for 2 extra weeks as well. Perhaps I do too. My birth is easy. The labor lasts only 4.5 hours. And I crown so quickly that the doctor arrives just minutes before my birth. From my first breath, my disposition is good. I'm happy and I don't cry much, quickly settling in a few days into regular sleep, making it easy on everyone. I'm born with long, black, curly hair. My father takes me for my first military-style haircut when I'm only a few weeks old. In protest, I cry at this military baptism. I don't want to have my hair cut. This is the first of many changes my family and I try to force on each other, and a proper beginning for my entry into the world. I'm named after my father with the same name as his father, going back 5 generations, so they can't call me James the 5th. So aside from my birth certificate, I'm called Chip. To this day, many of my friends know no other name other than Chip. My parents live in fear of a nuclear war. As an Air Force officer, my father spends his time preparing for that war. Communism and its possible domination color everything that they do. My father knows that what the public does not yet know, that we've created an arsenal of nuclear weapons that could completely destroy the world. My father is a test pilot at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio, and together with my mother and older sister, we're a normal family just trying to pay our bills and live a balanced life. Our life seems so safe and secure, but a storm of disruption is already on its way. My father dreams that someday he might become Secretary of the Air Force. He often flies off to some undisclosed location on top secret military missions. For me, my mother is my entire world. Hardly noticing the rest of the family, when I look at her, I see only love. I gaze into her eyes. There's only closeness, intimacy, joy, and silence. Something is there just beyond my reach, and my chubby hands reach out for that something, but I can't hold it. My mother says that often I light up with exaltation. For no apparent reason, joy bursts forth from my eyes, ears, and incoherent lips in a way that astonishes her. I giggle, laugh, and scream with glee. A big smile curves around my entire head from ear to ear. A year or 2 passes and I learn to crawl, moving across the floor like a miniature tank. I find a leg and pull myself up. I end up on a lap with some help, looking into my sister's eyes and laugh. Everyone laughs. The joy is infectious. Anything I can get into my hands goes into my mouth. And with saliva drooling on my clothes, I can consume everything. Sitting and crawling for hours, playing with some small object, experiencing intimacy, I'm completely content. I see my mother yell in delight and reach up to be held. Snuggling up to her breast, I'm fulfilled. The love and the warmth I feel is my whole universe. I wriggle in her lap, trying to get closer to her. As I look up into her eyes, I see only love. Innocently, just like every baby, part of me reaches up and becomes one with her. Like one drop of crystal clear water merging into another, I flow into her. Something holds me back from fully reaching this closest with her, and in frustration, I cry. Months pass this way, a series of encounters of joy and love, frustration, distress, craving for nourishment, then sleep. Things change subtly. The closeness I feel with everything fades, and the lost love causes me pain. The pain fades, but doesn't disappear. I cry only when the subtle agony comes and laugh when the love makes it fade. I am still nothing but part of everything and complete. So children really do know the truth. They feel an intimacy, a closeness and oneness that nobody else realizes. For the first few years in their lives, they are merging with everything that they see, and they don't experience that difference. And this is something that I chase after and want to recreate really for the rest of my life. Chapter 3, Clues Come in Dreams, and the poem before that. How many ways you look for light. You search all your days. You look and look and look again, not knowing you are my rays. A shimmering light flows over me like golden honey from the top of my head, covering my body. I'm standing on the shore in my young body, looking into the vast ocean beyond. As I survey the shoreline, my toes dig down into the gritty sand like so many crabs scurrying through the crushed shells beneath my feet. I know this place. The pounding waves, the endless horizon, are the ocean 2 blocks from my home. In the distance, a huge wave, swept by a violent gust of wind, rises up and washes over the shore. Over the sand dunes, wave after wave comes rushing down my street, flooding everything. Palm trees bend to the ground in a gale and collapse like boughs crushed underneath a giant boot. I'm standing in a flooded street, laughing at the storm. I awake suddenly, with a jerk, bolting upright as a loud crash of thunder and lightning fills my room. I'm startled, yet in moments drift back into sleep, and the scene changes. In my dream, the wind and rain pass, and now the sun shines brightly over my head. Before me, the lawns in my neighborhood are covered with water. In the distance, a small boat full of people, my childhood friends, arrive paddling down the street. I try to overturn their boat and play, and they paddle away quickly. I continue on my way alone. Floating back on my back in the water, drifting along, I look up into the sun, feeling its rays. In the distance, I hear a gentle melody, a chorus of beings singing in an ancient language. A boom and a flash of light comes, and again, I bolt upright in bed. Awake now, I look about my dark room and feel the wind rushing past my window, shaking the house with its power. There's a crack and a heavy thud as a tree crashes to the ground. Jumping out of bed, I run into the living room. The hurricane is coming. Looking out at our picture window towards the rear of my house, I see huge waves sweeping across the harbor. Giant palm leaves lie waist deep in the backyard. As I peer through the rain in the front of our house, I see a mighty limb sailing across the yard. Continuous lightning jumps across the sky, silhouetting the palm trees bowing close to the ground. I gaze down on our driveway and see waves in the street. I realize that the ocean has surged over the bank down the street from our house, just like in my dream. Quickly, I run to awake my father, but his bed is empty. Dad is already up, and in a few moments, everyone is awake, scurrying about the house, moving the furniture off the floor, just in case our house is flooded. Soon the power returns to our area, and the TV is blaring out the latest news of Hurricane Donna. Later that morning, after the winds die, I wade out into the yards. The water is up to my chest. It's strange to have seen this before. Up the road, a group of my friends float by, paddling in a rowboat. They grin and shout about their adventure this morning. We pass each other warily and play. I'm amazed to see this in a dream. I know that there is something different about it, but it doesn't occur to me to say anything. As I step from this dream into real life, it feels as if I'm walking into a photograph that suddenly has become alive. In that instant, my inner memory merges with the physical world, and something mysterious comes alive. This event symbolizes my youth. In the dream, a great storm brings destruction and loss. Wave after wave floods through my life, sweeping away much of what I know. In spite of all of this, I survive. As in the dream, I will leave my family, home, and all that I know, and find myself alone in a sea of change. As in the dream, I will leave my family, home, and all that I know, and find myself alone in a sea of change. Some friends paddle by. I'll play a while with them, yet they abandon me too. With all this loss, I learned something vital. At the end of my dream, I lay back at last and let go, and the flood of my life carries me where it will. At the end of my dream, I turn to look at the bright sun at last. Strange feelings and memories happen within me, and no one else is aware of it at all. I cannot communicate these events to my parents, so I retreat into a simple relationship and my first teacher, my dog, Coco. Coco is the only being I know that isn't miserable and confused. She always comes to me with love, her tail wagging. She speaks through her bright eyes filled with excitement. She says, I love you and miss you so much. Can we go and play? Together we scamper about the yard for hours, running through the trees surrounding my house. Returning from our adventure again, she turns to me, I love you. That was so much fun. Now I'm hungry and thirsty. On cue, I fill her bowl and plop down on the floor beside her with my lunch. I eat her food as well. I don't care because I'm a dog too. Grinning at each other, we glee and devour our lunch. Looking into Coco's life, I see a beacon radiating light and love. It is nothing extraordinary. Everyone is like that, but they don't know. Even though Coco's eyes' love breaks down my frustration, I don't learn. I turn away from this simple understanding and imitate the adults around me. The thoughts and feelings of my parents and friends flow into my mind in a stronger way. I cannot comprehend the confusion and sorrow that I feel. Elementary school is both a great fun and a great loss. I can't find the words to share with others what is happening inside me. Like a huge ship with a small leak, I slip into the world and forget the closeness with everything that I knew as a child. Each day I feel more loss. In school, I smile and play outwardly content, but inside a battle rages. After a few months, the bewilderment that I feel becomes too much. I withdraw from my parents, from my friends, and even my dog. I leave my toys and sit in dark places alone in silence. I want to disappear. I hide like this for hours at a time. My sister disapproves. She thinks my disappearances are odd. But I don't care what she thinks. Exploring the house, I find the best hiding place behind the kitchen cupboard. In the kitchen cabinet, a large lace Susan spins on a pedestal. I push the cupboard open and see a space in the far corner to hide. Without thinking, I climb in and crawl to the far corner, squeezing into a ball behind the shelves. I spin the whole thing around and the cupboard clicks back into place, completely hiding me. This is perfect. No one can tell I'm hiding. My mother comes into the kitchen. I can hear her talking, but she can't see me. For hours, I sit huddled in the dark in this tiny space, watching and listening. For me to sit alone in the dark all alone is mysterious. Something deep in the silence calls to me. I fall asleep back there, and my parents are alarmed at my absence and search the house. My sister finds me and shouts, "Oh, here he is. He's hiding behind the lazy Susan again." My mom, sister, and barking dog Coco peek into the cupboards and see me sheepishly smiling back. I feel embarrassed and silly. With this place, I discovered I look for another hiding place and find the clothes hamper. In our bathroom, we have a large hamper that swings open like a box. The hinge at the bottom front allows it to swing open and shut easily. The hamper is filled with clothes, and with all my strength, I open it, and quickly I climb in, and my weight shuts the door on my legs with a loud bang. I'm too slow. I'm caught like a mouse in a trap. I cry out, but no one hears me. Twisting my feet from side to side, I eventually free myself from the hamper, and it closes again, leaving me in the dark. The clothes hamper is a nice place. It's padded and dark, like the musty smell of dirty laundry. But I didn't think in advance about my exit. After a while, I realize I can't open the door. My sister, hearing my cries, comes into the bathroom, following a voice ringing through the woodwork like an old ghost. I emerge, claustrophobic. This is the end of this hiding place. Closets are nice because I can't be trapped, but they're too noisy. Someone could walk into the bedroom and find me in the closet at any time. Where will I go? Looking for a new hiding place becomes a game. In our household, I conceal myself again and again, hiding under the sink, under a bed, beneath the stairs, in the bathtub. I wait. I even hide in a hanging garment bag, but my weight is too great. The entire wardrobe crashes down on my head. Sooner or later, my sister discovers each new hiding place. Sometimes my mom joins in the search, and if they can't find me, they let the dog Coco into the house and follow her around. Coco search intently, with my sister and mom following closely behind. This hunt adds to the spice of my solitude. Then I discover tools about the time I can hold a hammer. I leave the house and start building retreats in trees. My concept is quite simple. I need a platform, a perch where I can sit and watch the world. Many such hideaways increase in complexity as I grow older. My greatest treehouse project finishes as I start college. I build a complete bedroom high up in the palm trees with a roof, electricity, screens, and even a folding ladder, so no one can disturb me. Something in my past makes me do this. So sometimes I sneak out at night. My parents never know. When I leave the house at night to sit in the dark and watch and listen to the moon and the stars. My best hiding place is in the garage, a flat platform above the garage door that stores wood. Climbing up the wall to that loft, I see a perfect location. No one ever comes here. My mom can't reach me. My dog, Coco, gets tired of waiting for me and leaves. At last, I'm safe and alone. In this retreat, I collect my magic toys, a candle, matches, cigarettes, a small wooden staff, a broken mirror, and a few old bottles. In the gloom, I light a candle and sometimes a cigarette. I don't smoke the cigarette. I just enjoy seeing the smoke drift through the air. There's something mysterious about being in candlelight, watching smoke drift through the air. In that dim light, I often hear a high-pitched drum or a beat like many drums pounding in the distance. In my mind, I see visions of people dancing through the smoke. Around me, the walls of my hideaway shimmer with tiny specks of light. Before me, I see phantom places, faraway landscapes, mysterious images like dreams. In my excitement, I bring my friends up to my hiding place, but they don't see anything. I wonder about it. I sit in the dark, amazed and entranced by these points of light that dance about me. The whole world disappears and appears to be filled with infinitesimally small red, white, and blue fireflies shimmering in place. These fireflies seem so real, yet no one ever notices them. What am I seeing? Smiling or sometimes ominous faces appear and vanish in the darkness. As I open and close my eyes, they come and go. Then a powerful hum rises like a faraway symphony, and the light dances. Drums, gongs, bells chime, and figures dance past in the mist. Something is happening that I cannot fathom. Not all of these nights are fun. This is especially the case early in the morning. Sometimes I awake afraid. In the dark, something is coming to get me. I don't know what it is, but I'm terrified. Nearby, the oil furnace runs and the air blower clicks on and off. The sound of the burning furnace and the howl of the wind bothers me. The sound gets louder and louder, and I can't stand it. They are coming. They are coming. I see vague forms in the dark, and my fear escalates. At night, at other times, my bedroom is a mysterious place. Standing in front of the mirror, I look into my own eyes, and I can see past my body into the dark pupils and find the same dancing light beyond. My face dissolves into scintillating fireflies of light and reappears as another face. This transformation frightens and fascinates me. For some minutes, I drift away like a cloud into another place. I look at my face and it dissolves again into a different face. Shivering waves of happiness run through my body, making me feel alive and awake. I don't know what is happening, but I like it and at the same time fear these experiences. One day in my bedroom, I wonder, what happens if I completely let go? Where will this feeling take me? Pushing hard at an unknown door, I move ahead, afraid that once I give myself completely to this experience, there might be no turning back. Like a tiny caged bird, I find the door of my confinement open. Tentatively, I step out into that opening, let go, and move into space, and realize I've left my body behind. We'll continue with chapter 4, entitled, Then Leaving the Body. Thanks for joining us in our YouTube channel, books, podcast episodes on living the enlightened life, and autobiography with your host, Dr. James Yogadhi Weldon.